Hey friends, it's me, Cynthia, and this is Azalea,
Hello.
and we're here in Tucson still. We're here for another day. We leave on Thursday, and that should be it'll be pretty nice to get back home, but it has been a lot of fun to be here in Tucson, Arizona for the gem shows. Today we hit the KINO at Electric Park, which is that one is one that anybody can go to. You don't have to have a resale license for it. And where else did we go? I think
Gem
that's it.
Mall.
Oh, we went to Gem Mall. Gem Mall was pretty fun too. And we ran into Nile there, which was fun. And we ran into some TGBE people, which was always a pleasure. Always nice to see familiar, friendly faces. So, anyway, today I'm going to show you. I found a little bit of wire. You know what's hard to find here? Findings in wire. There's not a lot. There's like one or two people we went through different shows. I was like, I'm going to do a wire wrapping thing because I did one with Sam's beads yesterday around 2 o'clock. And they spread out this plate of beads and kind of was like, surprise. And so my job was to design with it. And I did, and it was fun. So if you want to see what I made, you can check that out over at Sam's Beads. And I think they streamed it to our GreenGirlStudios page as well. So you can just check out our past videos because there's one from Sam's Beads. And it was pretty fun. I showed some wire wrapping tips, and there were several comments of people saying, "Yeah, I'd love to learn how to do some wire wrapping, like basic." But with a little bit of fanciness. Hello, Mary Jean. Hello, Facebook user. Hey, give StreamYard permission and your name will show up. This happens to me. I have an account. I have the pro account, and I still have to sign in. So it's a little bit annoying, but it'll make it so that your name can be seen. So if you're wondering about from yesterday's, was that yesterday that we did the lot sale?
2 days.
2 days ago. So Azalea and I have been like counting beads for the last couple days. So when we get done shopping, we're counting beads. So we are going to not go anywhere tonight and get all of our work done. So expect an invoice, and we're going to consolidate
the invoices from Sunday and today will be sent together.
Yes, so we're going to combine mode from if you get anything today. Hello, Lauren. Hello. Oh, it's Nancy. Hello, Nancy, Kitty, Robin. All right. Yes, we are tired. Nilda. Hello, friends. It's good. It's good to be live. I told my friend that I feel like I'm more natural at it now, and I'm not as stressed out. I used to get nervous that people would think, you get self-conscious public speaking. I used to be the most shy person you could imagine. And now look at me going live almost every week. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Dale. Oh, New York. Kimberly. Thank you guys for joining us. We've noticed our numbers are going higher, so it's pretty exciting, very exciting. Thank you for everyone that shared our video or given us little hearts and things. It boosts the signal and helps people find us. So we really appreciate it when we get those like little, boosts. We'll see it. Someone shared your video. It's always exciting when we see that. So today I'm going to show you guys in a few minutes. I'm going to show you how to do pretty easy wire wrap ideas for weird shaped stones. And sometimes it's easy to, of course you know how to wire wrap, but sometimes a couple new fresh ideas for that can be, all it takes to boost your creativity. And then we're going to share what we bought today at Gem Mall and also what we found at KINO. We actually found a new dealer at KINO that I'd never seen before. He mostly worked with antique beads, which, I love them, but a lot of times it's way out of my price range. And the stuff that I like, I can't get. So I took a picture today of some beads. He's like, this strand is 2,000 years old. And I was like, number one, how do you know it's 2,000 years old? And they had a way of figuring it out. He was educating us, much to the chagrin of the folks behind us. He was a really passionate dude. And he was like, first, check those bead holes. And I was like, I do that already. I always check the bead holes. But if you're looking at antique old beads, he was like, if the bead is flush and perfect, it's perfectly done, chances are it's machine. If you can see a few areas of where it's kind of like an odd shaped, where the way that they used to drill it was with this sort of, I took a video and I'm going to show, there's like, if I can find it, it's like this sort of, there's like a drip of water and this kind of like, you know, it's the same mechanism. They have it now that they did 2,000 years ago, because I guess that's, I mean, it's the easiest way for them to do it, and it's easy now. You can still do it that way. I mean, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to use a lat grinder and a Dremel tool. So anyway, that was pretty cool. I took a video too of this water system of cutting. It was pretty cool. I'll share that today. I've been not so great on social media lately, but I'm going to catch up. You know, it's kind of, there's a lot of things. Oh, the beaded crochet. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I've been, you know what? I've been working on tubular crochet and practicing it and adding a thread. It's really difficult for me. So, oh boy. Oh, I would love it if you could restock. Beautiful, Dale. I like that story. Oh, Sharon, you like that class? Yeah, that was fun. I love doing that. I could do that all day. Sharon likes that you're crocheting in the background. You want to give him a peek? Look at this hat Azalea got today at KINO. They had a bunch of hats, too.
I'm making a doll leg.
And look what else I got at KINO. I didn't, like, this is a cashmere wrap. Isn't this so pretty? I wish you guys could feel it. It's super soft. I tell you, I love textiles. And this was one of my finds. I had a really hard time deciding between the blue and the red. And they make these in, where were they from? So it was somewhere like,
it was somewhere in India, I think.
No, it wasn't India. Something like, I don't know where it came from. I should have asked. All right, you're making enamel. Hi guys. Is that Ann Gardan? Is that Ann? Hello, Kimberly. Jocelyn. Ah, Karen, Pat. It's great to see y'all. So I'm gonna flip the camera around, and I'm gonna get started showing you some wraps. But first, I'm gonna do this. We are coming at you live from the Red Roof Inn. It is a kind of an experience because it's jam-packed with vendors. They're from Jogs. So Jogs is right next to us. And all the vendors are staying here. I'm going to jack this up a little bit higher with a cracker box because it doesn't go that high. I'm going to try and get this so it's not in the way. You want to learn how to bead crochet and how to enamel? Well, I can show you both if I have the equipment here. Oh, Sharon likes the... you know what I saw when you just wrote the best bead show? It made me think of the best bead show, and I saw that they're back, and I kind of want to go over there. But you know what? There's so many shows, you kind of have to limit yourself. Here's one thing. I got this today at the Ancient, from the Ancient guys. This is, I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to turn this. Let me see if this is going to be weird. If it's going to be too much bright. Is that too much? Too much light on that? Is that ever a thing? Too much light? Azalea, can you look and see if that's too much light on your end? Look at these. This is bronzite. And this is a stone that they make watercolors. I get Daniel Smith's Primatech watercolors, and bronzite makes a beautiful, sparkly, deep brown wash. And so this stone, these are like ovals.
Looks great.
And if you can see this, I don't know, these are little animals carved. You see that? You can kind of see from that. I don't know. I just wanted them. Really pretty. Oh, Kathy said she met us at the Best Bead Show. Oh, yeah, back in the good old days. Yeah, these are so cool. I kind of wish I had some clay or something to see what those would look like. Aren't they neat? And each one is different and hand carved. So some of them have horses. Oh, that one looks like a tiger. And I don't know what that is. Oh, that's a head. I think that's a person's head. There's a couple of faces in there. But this one I thought was neat. Look at this, how it's like, what is that? It's hard to see what it is from this angle. It looks like a goat, maybe. That's a goat. Don't you think that looks like a goat? And there's another ox. Antelope. Pretty cool. Anyway, if, oh, Lisa, it does look like a man with a beard. It does, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Too much, yeah, these, I could not make that, something like that. Yeah, these were not cheap. These were kind of expensive, actually. Let me see what that, yeah, this was not an inexpensive strand. So anyway, I loved these. I haven't priced these out. I don't know if, oh, Facebook, press them in your coins. That's a, yeah, yeah. This is, no, Sharon, these are not raised. These are dug out. So what these were once used for back in, I believe, ancient Rome, you can find examples of this. So they would stamp them into clay or into wax, but a lot of them were used to seal things. So you would have it was like your family crest, and you'd seal it into hot wax or clay or something. And this is made out of stone, which the other ones, so they have them at, I found some a long time at, I can't remember the museum. Might have been there's a jewelry collection at the Smithsonian, and they had a huge display, and they're usually carved out of agate or carnelian. You can look them up if you Google antique signature seals, or signet seals is what they're called. They've made these throughout history as at different points and different materials, but this is not, I don't know how old these are, but they can't be, I paid a lot for them, but I didn't pay as much as like museum prices. So, oh, hello, June. All right, so today while we were walking around, I found some wire, and let me tell you, Germaine, I think they're replicas. I can't imagine that the antique would be like, a few $100s. If they're antique, they would be like $100 a piece, I want to say. Oh, Susan, she's seen the exhibit at the Smithsonian. So I'm going to get a piece of wire. Let's see. We're going to start this off. Yesterday, or what day was it when we were walking around African Village? Whatever day we were walking around African Village, one of the nice men that had a booth there gave me this really pretty tourmaline point while we were walking around. Every year this guy gives me a crystal. Maybe I should buy something. He makes wands and crowns and things. But I'm always like, man, I can make that. So I'm going to get like maybe 10 inches or so. And I'm going to clip that, and hopefully the whole thing doesn't come unwound. I hate it when I clip it and then everything comes off of the spool. All right. So there are a couple of choices with wrapping something like this. You could go and do a bail on top. You could wrap it and do kind of a basket. And what I like to do is a kind of a fancy wrap, and I'll put beads on it. But the way I like to do it is I make a little handle for myself, bend it. So this is how I'm hanging on to the piece. All right, I'm going to stop for a second and get my optivisors on so I can see what I'm doing. I was like, listen, I need to get another pair of this because they are looking ramshackled in, let me say. All right, so what I like to do is make this handle. You can clip it off at the end if you want. And I think I'm going to go, I want to hit this point. And I'm going to show you some other wraps too. So I'm just going to follow. This is like, I want to say, what gauge is this? 22 gauge brass. I'm going to give it this. I'm going to go around, and I think I'll do it where it's kind of, I'm going to make a handle with it. Oh, yeah, Anne, that's a good one. It's a good trick. I agree. So I'm going to grab under this point right here. Flip it under. I'm going to go up. And then I'm going to bend it again and kind of seal it in. And I'm going to hide all this. You won't even be able to see it. So right now, this is a little bit Loving Hands of Home. And I'm going to try and doctor that up. Glue those. Pinch. Pinch. So I'm making the base. I'm not going to leave it like this. I'm tightening it up, and I'm going to leave it like that for now. I'm going to clip this off. All right, so see what we have here now. And I could go in and I could tuck that back in. I could go the other way. And it's a little loose. Usually I have a finer gauge wire because I like it to be a little finer than this. Okay, so I'm going to trim that. I don't want to see that. We went to Walmart and bought this work light, and it is really warm. Really warm. But luckily, you know what? Those dude bros that were next to us in the hotel room, they like to talk super loud. And you know what I did? I found our leftover Thai food that we didn't eat, and it was getting kind of, Azalea opened the fridge and she was like, oh my God, there's something weird in the fridge. And we haven't been here except at night to sleep. And so he was on the phone, he was super loud. I put all the old food outside of our door in the trash can and was like, oh my gosh, it's so stinky. He was like right outside our door chatting. And I kept wafting it. I opened, I started fanning the door. And he was like, I know he could smell it because it was like fish sauce, you know. It was so funny. I totally got rid of him. And then I was like, he's not moving fast enough. So I got some of this incense that I bought. And I'd heard him complaining about it 2 days ago. So I was like, I'm going to burn the heck out of this incense. And I started wafting it towards him. And he started coughing. And I was like, oh, sorry. But not sorry. Oh, so he had a blast of like fish sauce and incense. And I was like, enjoy. All right, so this is one. If I had this at home, I would have done this with a finer gauge. So what I'm doing is this is the way I wrap with. I'm going to try and go all the way around, see how far I can get. So this strengthens it. So right now it's a little bit, I'm trying to get you're getting the idea. So see, I'm going to go all the way around here and go all the way to the top. So if I had like 26 or 28 gauge, this would look 10 times better, and it would be like really fast to do, and it would add strength. This part, it'll be still sturdy. Look, it's not coming off. It's a little bit awkward because I'm using a thick gauge for the whole thing, and they didn't have, you know, I'm working with what I could find. So this is what they had. What gauge does that say? 22 gauge. So that's what I started using. Fish sauce, Lisa, you're right. It does stink. I wonder if that guy could hear me like talking about it because these walls are like paper thin. But it was pretty funny. They're really loud and obnoxious, and they hoot. I didn't think people still did that. They're all like, yo, yo, yo. And I was just like, are you joking right now? What year is this? So awkward. But anyway, it was pretty funny. I had a little bit of moment. That was my moment of being a tiny bit passive aggressive. But it was pretty funny as I was like, do it, Mom. So anyway, I'm not able to get as tight as if it were 26 gauge. But you can see already that that's still, I mean, it looks pretty good. But it's sturdy. And it's going to kind of bell out. So if you have any of these spots, you can just tuck that in and pinch it. Pinch it closed. And do it gently. I put my finger here, so I don't go, I am not able, actually, I'm preventing myself physically from closing too tight, which can lead to a cracked crystal. So my finger is here, and I'm just going to lightly, because you could easily mess up your crystal. So I'm gently gonna crush that to it. Now, one thing is if you wanted a decorative way, I like how this looks, but if you wanted to tighten this, and this is going to be wrapped with beads, which I would think looks really good, like really small, like 3mm beads. If you wanted to make that even tighter, you could always grab a wire and do this as a little trick to tighten it. You twist, and it's decorative. You've probably seen this on crystals, and you just give it a little twist and it tightens the whole thing up. And just a little tiny twist. Almost, you hear that? Almost got it. Crack that. I don't want to crack anything. Gave it a little twist. Okay, so that side has you've seen those, right? They had little tiny twists. The reason they do that is it tightens around the stone. So, I don't know if you've ever seen, my friend Nina Bagley does what's called a messy wrap. And hers would be like, I like mine to look like a spring all the way over. But the way she does it is it's more like wabi-sabi. You know, there's a lot of texture and movement. It looks like, it's not perfect, and it's pretty that way, for her. Hers would be more like this, see, like all the way in there. And so I'm going to go down and get that spring. And as I'm twisting, you can see already that it's getting that kind of look right there. That perfect spirally texture like a spring. Now, it would take me a minute to finish that whole thing up because this wire is really thin, or thick, I mean. Now, what I like to do when I get to this point, after I've wrapped that, I want to finish it, but that's going to take a minute. Because as you do this, you'll notice with this thicker wire, it gets a little bit tough because it's work hardening. It's toughening up as I'm wrapping it. So by the time this is done, you can see as I'm going in, it's like a little bit harder each time. Each pass is a little bit firmer. But it strengthens your bail, because that's what I'm doing here, is I'm making the bail. And it just looks pretty. So I'm at the end of this, I'm using my pliers. But if you were to use 22 gauge, this would wrap in like 10 minutes or shorter, because it's not as stiff. But as I'm going in, I'm correcting the line and straightening it out. See that? So that's what I have going here. All right, so with this in mind, I'm going to trim that last bit, and I'm going to finish it later, I think, to show you, because it's going to take me a minute to finish that. I want to move on and show another thing. These pliers are pretty good because they have like a crimper at the end. And you know what else is good for that crimping thing? Again, I'm putting my finger here to keep it from closing too tight. And I'm using that rounded part to tuck in. So you can tuck that in without messing it up or flattening your wire. A lot of times pliers will have these little divots, and if you look, there's 3 different sizes, and then there's the crimper. So this is good for that. You can use it for crimping, or you can use it to do this and tidy that up. So see how that did that? It tidied up that little spring that I've made. This is also, if you've ever made chain, you can wrap things, but I use a what's called a jump ringer that makes the spring by twisting. It has a handle, and you keep twisting the wire, and it feeds it in, and then you cut the wire across the spring right here to make jump rings. So it's a similar technique. So that's the start. I'm going to show you another one. Robin, I will make the base, this part with 22, just like this. And I will maybe not do as many wraps. It depends on the size. This one it's a little bit, once you get it started, it came out a little bigger than I was planning, but I think it looks good. I'll usually use 22 for this side, and then for the decoration wrap, I'll usually use like 26, 28 if I'm feeling really fancy. All right, so here's another one. I'm gonna get some more wire. Okay, so this is one of the beads we found from the new guy at KINO. And this is a turquoise bead. I have some of these. I bought them. They're really pretty. Look at that fat little melon. All right, here's how you make a little messy wrap. Here's a quick messy wrap. All right. I'm going to start, when I'm usually making them, the amount that you leave here will dictate how much of a wrap that you can do at the bottom. So if you don't give yourself much room, you're going to have a shorter bail, okay? So I trimmed off about 9-10 inches. This is 22 gauge. And I'm going to try and do almost like a bead cap wrap is what I'm envisioning. So what I'm going to do is bend this over. So I'm leaving, I'm estimating now, this is eyeballing it. It's about this much. And I'm going to use the rounded side of the pliers to get a nice little wrap on that. So what you do is you bend it towards it like that. So it's not flat on that side. It's kind of rounded. All right. So then we're left with this. And you have this tail here. And these are fast. I like making these. So I want my loop to be, let's see, maybe like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to the top of it, bend it just like that, and then go lower at the neck, kind of like, so it's like its little head. And then I'm going to do one, you can bend it. I use my fingers. Some people can get away with using their tools and things, but I do not have that skill with me right now, if I ever did. Okay, so now I'm pushing it up to see. That's the size I want. So then, this is the fun part, I think. I'm going to hold that and just make a little spiral. But I'm holding it flush. And I'm going to twist it with this hand. And as I'm twisting it away from me. So it's making a little coil. You see how I'm doing that? I'm using the bead. Okay, I went too far. So that's what I've got, spiral. So it's making like a bead cap. You don't want to go too fast. So as I turn my bead, I'm turning the wire too. Isn't that fun? No, I'm not going to. Look at the top. I'm not going to add more wire. You could very easily add more wire. Very easily. So when I get to this stage, I can remove that and kind of fix it if I want to. See, flatten it out. Because you don't want it, if you want it to stay like that, you can just use your tool to get a little shape that is there. I wanted it to be kind of a disc. All right. So when we're at this point, you can decide how far you want to go. So I'm going to trim that. I'm going to tuck it in. There you go. That's one side. Okay, this side. So this is how much I have. Plenty of room. So the next step, I want it to be the same. I don't want this side to be bigger than this side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my pliers again, and I'm going to look at this and try and get it to where it has the same amount. So I'm estimating, looks like probably right there. Bend it. Now, usually for this, I have rosary pliers, and those are fully round all the way, or they call them chain nose. I think the difference with rosary is if it has cutters, makes it a rosary plier. So as I'm testing it, I'm looking at the other one, and right now it's a little wonky, but that's easily fixed. Okay, so I think that's a good shape. Looks very close, very close. So again, And if you need to tighten it, you can just go and scooch that thing down a little bit. So give it a wrap. And then you can move your bead with it. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get the beads or to get the wraps exact. And as I'm twisting it, I'm twisting the bead around it as well. Okay. So that's almost there. Okay, now I'm going to trim the rest. And then tuck in the tail. You tuck that in because you don't want it catching on your hair and what have you. You don't want that to be an issue. Hello, Mary. See that coming? So here's one of the things that I like to do. I don't know if anyone else likes to do this, but when I get to the end, I'll give it a twist, just like this. 1, 2. All right, so that kind of tightens it up. And if you can, go in the opposite direction so you don't undo your spiral. And I'm going to go in and kind of pinch it along to make it pretty. And then when I get down to this part, I like to do this thing where I flatten the heck out of it. So I'm going to get the other pliers because these are flat. Okay, so these are flat nose, and I'm going to do this. I squeeze the heck out of it. So you get kind of a faceted look, so you can see the difference. See, that side is more, has the flattening, and also it doesn't get, if you pull on it and you have a big chain of these, say, you don't get the shape to distort. Now, when I was twisting this, I kind of went a little too, I pulled too much, and so now I'm going to try and squeeze it back into place. And so that's a spiral cap wrap. Now, I will say those do take a little practice to get even and perfect. You'll have to practice it. The one I just did is, yes, Randy, that does work hard in it. This is not going anywhere. It's really firm. If I try to squeeze it, you can see it kind of, it makes it where it doesn't want to go anywhere. So that's what you get. I added a little too much on that side, but I think that if I could always do it again, wire is cheap unless it's silver, and then I would probably be more meticulous with it. But what you want to do, for me anyway, is look at it and see if you're happy with it. If you don't like it, you just cut that puppy off and do it again. There's no law that says you have to stick with it. So there's a little bit, this is not as perfect as this side. This side I like. That was the first side. And that makes, this is called the you're basically making a bead cap. All right, the next way, I'm going to show you, this one's called the messy wrap. And as it sounds, it's going to be pretty easy to do. It's the easiest, but it's kind of a wire hog. It looks particularly good with silver wire, and if you add beads to it, I wish I had some small beads in the collection, but I don't. I didn't bring any for some reason. I figured I would get some. So this is a good one if you have any Charlottes, because I love to use Charlottes, like from African Village. They're metal Charlottes, brass or silver, and I would string those, not right now, but here in a second. So again, I'm going to put the wire about, let's see, was that about 2 inches? Let's see, yeah. This is beautiful Afghanistan lapis that they carved into a star in the middle. Isn't that pretty? I love them. I love them with all my heart. So this time I don't want a really big loop. I want a smaller loop. So for that, I'm going to move the throat of the pliers down a bit and go maybe like this. I think this will be fine. And make that loop. Okay, so I have this much left, and that's my tail. All right, I want that loop to be a little smaller. Okay. So now hang on to this with your pliers. And then give it a good wrap. Now this kind of wrap is a fast, easy one. It's decorative. And the more wire you add to it, you could add different colors, which is one of my little things that I do. If I'm using a mixed media necklace, if I'm going to use silver with this, then I will cut another piece of wire in a different color. And what I'm doing is I'm deliberately passing over different places. I'm making like a bird's nest. See? Now, if you added some seed beads to this, it would add to that kind of wabi-sabi, kind of eclectic. But it's almost like a coil. But I don't want it to be a coil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck the tail in. I didn't break the bead. That was just me clamping. It seemed like I did though, didn't it? And I did get a little bit scared there for a second because those are not cheap. I was like, shit, did I do that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to smash it down a little bit on all sides. And I'm going to use that side that rounds it out. How would you add wire? I'll show you. I can do that. If I had finer wire, it works better if you have like several thicknesses on hand, especially a fine wire. Okay, so that's how that's looking now. See, it's kind of crooked. Take your pliers, straighten it out. I don't like it when it's like crookedy looking, not at all. And if you want, this is a good time to grab onto a piece and give it a twist. That tightens it. Okay, I'm going to see if I can grab that and twist. Twist it. So it makes like a little bird's nest. Now, if you want, I'm going to flatten this. And it gives it that faceted look. You could take I'm taking this side and I'm just letting those points dig in there. I think it adds texture. And that's okay because it doesn't, the whole beauty of this type of wrap is that it's kind of a messy wrap. So that's how that side looks. All right, to add wire, what you would do, and this is what I would do, is I would start before I do the next side, is I would tuck in the tail. See, there's a little bit of a hole right there, and I would do that thing where I would wrap it with another piece and then wrap on top of it. And you only need a few wraps to do that. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, I want to make sure that it's even. I don't like it when one side's bigger than the other. And you want to account for how big your wrap is. It's like a few millimeter. I'm going to bend that. And so now I have my loop. This side is always longer. The second side for me. I'm not sure why that is. I guess I'm not adding enough at the top. But it's okay. It doesn't matter because it's supposed to be a messy wrap, so that's fine. So I'll anchor it. So I don't add beads to this point. So if it does this, that's fine. That's okay. It actually works in my favor. You're just letting that, you're going crisscross applesauce. You're doing whatever you feel like. It's a little bird's nest at the top of this. And if you added like seed beads or something, it'll add texture. And if you hit it with liver of sulfur, say that was made out of silver. If this was silver wire, you would get, this would be black and you could go in and buff it and it'd be really pretty. So before I pinch that out, I'm going to make sure that the piece is how I like it. If it's not, you see how it's kind of a little misshapen? I'm going to put my pliers in there and I'm going to work them in because it's rounded. See? And then I straightened it out. Boom. There you go. Okay, so here's what we have so far. Oh, that tail's too long. So all you do, cut it and tuck. Oh, Julie, she was into some. We saw you before at the Pueblo. I remember that. That was good times. Good times. We saw a lot of TGBE people today. Ran into, what was her name? Stacy, I think. It was really nice to run into her with Nile. Now, I feel like, see how this is a little bit, that wire is a little weird inside. It's soft. What I do is twist. I give it 2 twists. and that kind of work hardens it. If you go too far, you'll break your wire because it'll get brittle. So you don't want to go too far. I don't do any more than 2, 3 tops, never more than that. So this time, you see, I actually gave it a texture like it's hammered by using that textured side. If you don't want that, flatten it with this one because it gives it, not everyone likes a textured piece, and that's not required. It's just what I like to do to give it a little bit of a pretty look. Okay, so there are 3 different ways to do a wrap. What do you think of that? Pretty? This is to make your own little wire wrap bead cap. And if you finish that out, or if I finish that out, I would complete it. And maybe I'll finish that tonight. To add a piece is always kind of a drag because you can see where it hits. So I would add it here and not here. And if before I do this, you know what? The best part would be to do this like this. And make that and harden it into the shape you want because it's way harder to bend it. See? That is very difficult to bend. Once you pinch it and it looks kind of faceted, it looks hammered almost. It's really difficult to bend. And I like that. I don't want it to, when I add this to a necklace, I don't want that to get distended, from the weight. I want that to stay in its shape. And the wrap going up all the way over will reinforce that. So that's one good thing about that. This would also be really pretty. I like to do a messy wrap around it, but if you don't, there's all different ways you can applique almost a wrap. So you can make spirals and then add them to it, or bead that if you want. It's so fun. All right, so those are the pieces. And I have these beads. I don't have this because that was a gift. I was looking around for crystal points, but I really didn't see any that were unusual. For the most part, they were pretty standard type beads. All right, so I'm gonna clear this up and I'm gonna show you what I did. Oh, thank you, Laura. That's nice of you. She said that she loves my videos. Good, I like making them. I did not know that I would really like it, but I do. It was fun. Supposed to be the same size. Let me see, what's that? Sharon, what did Sharon say? Same here, same here. What's this? I missed what was said. Okay, let's see. Did I get it the same size? Nearly. It is kind of, I will say it's not easy. It takes practice to get those perfect. But if you can imagine a whole line of those wire wrapped, or even as earrings, because these I think would make fantastic earrings. They're so pretty. There's only one strand of that. It was so good. All right, little daughter. You know what's hard to find around here? Is good coffee that's like regular price. Oh, those dudes are back. You know what I need to do is get a thing of fish sauce from the Oriental store. And I'll make a fish sauce, little paper towel soaked, and maybe put it right close so they'll stay inside their room. You know what they do? They sit outside, they drag the chairs from the inside, and they watch the parking lot. I'm not joking. If you went out there, you'd see them doing it. It's so bizarre. Okay. All right, let's do this. So the first thing I'm going to show you is something that I found I was pretty excited about. I don't know if you like it. I got some of this. I bought this for my treasure necklaces, and it's not hugely expensive, but this is called Tips on How to Deal with Rude Neighbors. I know it's so passive aggressive. Well, I tried yesterday. Germaine, they are vendors. They're over at Jogs, and I think they have. Jogs is a different animal. I tell you, these guys are like. I think they sell chain because there was a lot of gold chain that they were wearing. Okay, so this is called. I've never seen it. It's called Purple Emerald. And so I was like, is that dyed or something? What's up with this? But it's a new stone. It's not a new stone. It's a stone that they have recently uncovered, I guess. But it has kind of a weird, like, I don't know what you call it. Like a chatoyance, I guess. So it's really pretty. It's not terribly expensive, which I was happy because sometimes you'll see a stone, you love it, and then it's like super expensive. I got these and I was like, how much is that stretch bracelet? But I have not seen it anywhere else, so I got one of each color and they were like 60 bucks. This one was like 40 and this was like 60 and I was like, ugh. But when you see something you want. But then I saw this and it's very similar. It has the same vibe. It's the same vibe. So this is, let's see, purple emerald. I have 13 little hanks of this and it is $12. And that's lot 847. So if you're interested and you would like to get in on that, they have a really pretty color. They have a glow. It doesn't look like, at first I thought it was some sort of Super 7 because Super 7 has a similar color. But I've only seen this in one place, so I was excited. I got a couple strands and thought I'd see how everyone liked it. If it went well, I'd get more. Everyone liked this color, but it flashes pink. So that's why I'm rotating it to get the flash. And it really glows in the sunlight. So anyway, it's really pretty. $12 for this little hank. Pretty sweet, nicely drilled. And she told me where it comes from. I want to say Brazil because a lot of emerald comes from there, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I was standing next to this guy that was a geologist, and he's like, I think there's crystal in that, like quartz that it's blended with. Because I was like, see this part? And he's like, well, sometimes you get stones that grow together and they make a new stone, like that Super 7. So the purple emerald apparently has the matrix of emerald. The reason they call it that, it's like a carbuncle, or not carbuncle. What's that word? It's like carbuncle, but not.
I don't know.
Corundum. Corundum. So corundum is a sapphire, emerald, ruby. It's the same stone, just different colors. So it's very hard. It's a very hard stone. It's not in the amethyst family. It's in the corundum. So anyway, that is $8.47 and it's $12. Adular essence. Thank you, Karen, for that lovely word.
You have 13?
I have 13 bundles of this. Yeah, sometimes it's our friend Laura Belkin's on with us. Hey Laura, we miss you. We were just, you know what, we had dinner last night and we ran into Lisa Nevin Kelly and we were like, where's Laura? Wouldn't that be wonderful if she joined us? It would be wonderful. So today I learned a new word, adular essence. It's kind of like, I thought chatoyance was a fun word, and that's usually in regard to labradorite. All right, let's move on. Oh, I have another size here, don't I? All right, so this one is the same stone. It's a little bit, it's kind of like, it's bigger. Check that out. Real pretty, especially this one. And these aren't dyed. That's the natural color. That's the natural stone. These are, let's see, lot 846 and it's 15. If you want to sample that. I love it. It has a little bit, like it's the shine of it is really unusual. And what I'll do is I'll make sure when we do these little bundles, I high grade them. So if there's anything cracked or anything that has like a messed up hole, I pick those out and I won't put it on yours. And if something doesn't have very good color, I take them off. See, you can hear them huffing and puffing. Yeah, we're talking about you, bro. He just walked by and gave me stink face because I've got the window open. Of course, he walks by with like a cigarette and 3 beers clutched in his arms. Labradorescence for labradorite, yes. Although I've only seen, well, like whenever I see that they say chatoyance or.
How many you got of the small size?
The small size, I wrote it on the back. It keeps flicking out of my fingers. 15. Oh my God, you should have seen the chain he had on his neck. It was like, I kid you not, like an inch thick herringbone flat chain. So 1987. I know that's kind of catty of me. I apologize. This shouldn't be catty. People, if you like to wear big, thick chains, then that's all to the good. All right, so the next thing I found this really pretty chrysocolla. It's not terribly expensive. It is simple cut. These are beautifully cut. I was happy to get that because they're nice sharp cuts. It's 12, 8.58. You get a sample of this. And the good part about getting sizes like this is we're breaking them up. We're not marking it up 10 times or however much people. I've heard of other stores marking them up really high, and I'm like, well, then they're not going to buy it if you make it really high. You want to make it where people can afford it and look at it and enjoy it too. And you might not need a lot. This, I would think, would make good earrings. So you can get like 2 pairs of earrings probably with that. Because they're not terribly heavy. I don't know. They might get heavy though. Let me see. Kind of heavy. If I had my gram scale, I could tell you exactly how much they are. So I have 10 of those. And if there's something you guys want and I run out of it, email this. We're catching up with emails right now. So we're a little bit behind. We're going to send out all the invoices tonight. We're going to get everything finished threading because this is a lot of work high grading this. I've got my optivisors on in a super bright light, and I'm going through and I'm picking out any of the flawed ones and I'm putting them aside, and I only put the nicest ones. So what I'm doing is called high grading. And some jewelers do this. So when you're making a really nice necklace, you high grade it because you don't want to put on, like I had some, maybe I can find it. Some of the carved ones, there was a bunch of broken ones that I didn't notice. 10. All right, so that loveliness, chrysocolla. All right. The next thing, I was pretty excited. This is the one I just made that wrap of this. These were not cheap. These are old beads, and they're not as old as the other. He had $10,000 strands. I'm not even kidding you right now. I was like, I took a picture to prove it. I was like, look, and here's the bag. It was like 10 grand. And he's like, we sell to museums. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not a museum. I just want to have some nice stuff. And I found this lapis. It's a very good quality. It comes from Afghanistan. It has a star, like a little asterisk carved on them. They only had one strand. He was like, I don't know if we'll carry these again. I don't know. This is what I have. This is from like, he was like, this is from like 30 years ago. He's like, my dad brought this out. And he was bringing things out of bags from that were like these dusty old bags that he was allowing Azalea and I to pick from. And that was really cool. We loved that story. So this is $12 for 3. It's $8.57. Cherie, I did not find the good Larimar. There were a lot of people selling Larimar, but I'm not buying it if it looks like kind of cheap, then I don't want it. Some of the Larimar I saw, I'm sorry to say, had really miniature holes, and I didn't want that, you know. I didn't want to do that because I use it myself. I'm not gonna, you know, I want the nice stuff. So right now I'm on the hunt for good Larimar that looks like Larimar. It doesn't look like, it's not marked as Larimar, but it's like really faded or really like bland. So anyway, thank you, Kimberly, for joining us. Yes, thank you all for basically keeping us here in Tucson. We're just having the most wonderful time. Most wonderful time. Yeah, Sheree, I don't buy, like I'm on a pretty strict budget. So what I like to do is get things that what I would be proud to use. I don't want to have deep shame when I have a necklace and I sell it for a good amount of money. I don't want it to have any fading, chipping, breaking. I want it to be heirloom quality where you'll be wearing that necklace for years and years and you're proud of it. I don't want anything to be like, oh, I wore this and then it faded or the dye ran or it fell apart. So anyway, let me see how many I have of those. 6 of them. There weren't much. There wasn't a lot of this. There wasn't a lot. This is like the one I kept for myself for the sample. But I can look. He was bringing out like these totes. And I was like, let's see. I was like, what do you have behind the scenes there? I love it because sometimes people don't know and they'll just pull things out for folks that are more interested. And if you are passionate about your stones, the work, people are also excited and they will, like, he gave me a deal on this. That's what I can do.
Is that what you have in your hand?
Yeah, it's the carved.
You have 6 of those.
6. So anyway, that was one of my, I was excited about that. I kept that one. If I can get more, I got his card. He's a new guy for us, so it was pretty exciting. Okay, so the next thing, I found this. They had one strand. We found this at Gem Mall. And this is a Quan Lin carving. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a rose quartz. I thought it looked like a Kokeshi doll. That's what I thought it was. I was like, oh my gosh, such cute little, like a matryoshka, where it looks like one of the Russian nesting doll. That's what it looks like to me. But he was like, oh no, they're the goddess Quan Lin. And so I was like, oh, cool. But the faces are really beautifully carved on that. So anyway, this is rose quartz. Azalea wrote Buddhas, but that's a Quan Lin. And it's 12. You get 4. We got what they had. And there weren't many. That was it. So, beauty. They kind of have, I would put those as earrings myself. Because the light shines through them. And then when it goes to the side, this rose quartz has a shine to it. Kind of a luminescence. See how when you do that, it has a shine. All right, so it's 12, it's $8.55. I have 5 of them. $8.55 and 12. So tonight we're going to send out the invoices. I'm going to finish counting all the beads and high grading them. It's actually, I know it doesn't sound like a lot of work, but I examine them with my Optivisors, and I brought this with me to check the bead holes and check them. So it's a little bit more work. It would be easier if we just sold strands after strand. But the thing is sometimes, unless you're like Captain Moneybags and you want to buy thousands of dollars worth of beads, it can be cost prohibitive, even for like big bead stores. So having this kind of sample pack kind of works. We set aside these. This is how we do it. We're going to put bundles together. This is probably not going to be in the bundle, but we've been buying for the bundles, and I am so into it. This is probably our best bundle yet. It's really good. All right, so what was that number? $8.55. So yeah, I bring this with me. So at night, I've got that going, and I'm like, let's see. Let's give it a look. I need to get new batteries, apparently. But anyway, that's how I like to roll with that. I examine all the beads. I check the holes. I check them to make sure that they're not messed up in any way. All right. I love it. Yeah, I'm passionate about beads. I mean, I've been doing this since I was a little bit older than Azalea, so, which is kind of fun. There were vendors that were like, Azalea, I knew you when you were a baby underneath the table. So this is pink opal. This is a pretty shape. I haven't seen this shape before, so I was happy to find that. I don't usually I like it when it's more saturated color, but these had that kind of rose water. It looks like, to me, it's reading as a white, or like, I don't know if it reads pink, but where I'm looking, it looks kind of white, but it's not. It's a really pale, pretty ballet pink. So this is 12 for this little hank. These are beautifully drilled. Both sides, I checked them. And this is $8.53. You get a good amount on there. And
it's good that we restring everything, because then you know for sure that something's drilled right if it's been restrung.
I hate it. Like, I passionately hate it when I get stuff that is not properly drilled, because you can't use it. What are you going to do with it? Glue it into something? I'm not gluing anything. So I want this to go on my necklaces. I don't want, I'm not going to sell anything that I'm not going to use myself, is all what it comes down to. So that's $8.53. These are pretty. I like them. I found more of this shape, a couple other stones. I don't have a ton of it. But yeah, so anyway, we ran into our friend Ruhi, and she invited us to come to her booth tomorrow at 10. I don't know if you guys are into that. But you can see, we'll go and I'll set up the gimbal. We got permit. Well, she asked us if that would be fun, and I was like, we'll do it. So we're going to meet her tomorrow, and we're going to like look at her booth, and you can see what she has, possibly sale. I don't know how we're going to do it. We should discuss it first. But she has really, really beautiful, high quality, they're kind of expensive though, so I will warn you, she is not a cheap date. So She also has diamonds. Mostly she has diamonds. And so sometimes I get cabs from her. So that was $8.53. If you're watching on replay, I'm kind of behind on the emails. I've got 10 or 12 sitting for me waiting. I'm going to catch up tonight, but if you want to send an email, you're watching on replay, email here, and I'll get back to you with all the quantities and prices and things. We'll look everything up. Okay, here's another of that cut. This is that cut. I call it simple cut. This is Appetite. But what's good about this is a really pretty quality. Really pretty quality. I like it. And they're drilled big. So when I was looking at this, I was like, I'm gonna double string those. So good. Because look at how big that hole is. And the color is really pretty. It's kind of like, it reminds me of like ocean water or something. And the facets on this, sometimes facets can be on a softer stone. They're not as sharp. Softer stones just can't hold that hard shine. But these have been polished so well that the color comes through. So when you have a higher polish, this holds true for like artwork as well. When you gloss something, it's like adding a layer of clear nail polish. It really makes the color shine. So sometimes when you get a matte finish bead or a softer bead, it has a softer look and the color is more muted. With one that has this bright kind of shine. Oh, good, Kristen. I know, I miss you. We were talking when we were at the GBE. It was a good time. You know what? We were so frustrated. We arrived late to our own get-together because we could not find a place to charge our car. We got an electric car, and I was so frazzled that I couldn't find parking. It was like a nightmare to do. And so I didn't want to bring that energy. I had to sit outside for a minute and kind of like get myself together. I have this like pocket massage gun that I got on Amazon during Black Friday, and I just sat in the car and used it. And I was like, I need to correct my energy. This one is, we have 5 of them.
Dang.
So
everybody wants it.
They're beautiful. They're really pretty. It's a good color. All right, I have a similar situation here. This is, what is this, peridot? Is this peridot?
Yes.
Okay, so my
friend.
Did I
not write it on the tag?
Oh, you did. It was upside down. I didn't see it. So this is peridot. I have 5 of these. Look at this color, y'all. Isn't that pretty? So this is $14, $8.59. Beautiful. So my friend Joanne, she loves peridot. So I got some of this for her too. So she's going to get a little bundle of this. And drilled well. So if you want to use wire, I bet I could poke that 22 gauge through there if I tried. Let me see. I'm not going to do it now, but because it's already got something in there. But I bet I could even get a little thicker. So this would be good for an ideal one for wire wrapping too. Yes. Gorgeous. Yeah, the color is it's a really springy green. It's just fantastic. Nice hard sparkle on that. Okay. Let me see what we got here today. Okay, so I found some rubies. You know I can't quit rubies. I couldn't get out of one bead show without getting rubies. There's no way. And I got a really good deal on this, so I'm passing on to you. Dale, what size are they? I think those would say they were kind of flat like rondelle, probably 8 by 6 maybe. I can't find my ruler. Oh wait, I know where the ruler is. I just remembered. Yay, I found it. And then, you know, today we ran into Marie Erickson of Fusion Bead fame. And that was good times. It made me think of the past and all of us going out to dinner together. And, okay, I'm going to look at the millimeter here. So, hey, I wasn't far off. What did I say? I said 6 by 8. What? Oh my gosh. That's almost exactly what I said. So, that was correct. So, obviously, some are going to be a little bit bigger or smaller just because they're hand cut. I'm going to take a picture of this machine. It was a lap machine. I say hand cut, but it was like water cut. It was actually they were using water to cut the bead or cut the
What is it that you're showing that's 858 or 848 in your hand?
848. These are
10
rubies.
of those.
So these rubies, so if you've ever bought, faceted rounds are one of the hard ones to get because it takes more material to cut a round than it does a rondelle. And these have a particularly good, I check them, I ask, make sure they're not dyed or heat treated or anything like that. These are natural. Now, if these were clear ruby, this would be like $10,000. But since these are kind of like that color is good, but it's not clear. Clarity is where you get the price, where the when it gets more and more expensive. The more clear it is, the more money it's going to be. So this one, they're kind of like a little bit opaque but translucent. Light goes through. They're $18 for this, which is if you've ever bought ruby beads, you'll know that that's a great price. Also, these rubies don't have miniature holes. So there's a time and place for everything. If you want small holes, say you're doing silk knotting, that's a good place for tiny little those little tiny holes. Or if you're using 28 gauge wire and you're making really fine beadwork, that's a good place for the small. You've seen those strands like diamond beads. So how many of these do I have? 10 of them. 10 of them. So I got a good deal on that. And that is, I mean, if you were to weigh that out by the gram, that's awesome. So this is when having your friends that you've been seeing for the past 26 years and they see you, they pull out stuff that you can't, that they're like, oh, I saved these for you. That's when the benefit of years comes in. Because sometimes, like we ran into a gal today, one of our TGBE friends, and she was like, I'm shopping, but I did get taken over at Jogs. And I was like, same girl, same. Because we bought some turquoise the other day and she'd marked it. She told me, oh, that's this price. And then when we got home, we looked at the receipt and she'd tacked on an extra $4 per strand. So you have to watch when you're counting up. Don't walk off and keep looking unless you know and your friends. But stay there, watch them count that up, and then say, oh, you told me you quoted. Azalea writes everything down while they're telling, so there's no chance of things being misinterpreted. So misinterpreted or added to, which can happen sometime. Or they'll say, oh, the amount is 550, so instead of when you get home it's not 550, it's they write 680 on your credit card. So if you're not careful, you can get, this is a really easy place to get, I don't want to say scammed because you still got really nice beads, but sometimes people take advantage of other people being tired or whatever. So, and that's when and if that happens, you write that name down in your book, your Tucson book, and you just say, okay, that's off our
really
list.
Digging on those. Let's show the next ones.
All right.
851.
Okay, so these are larger.
Big.
These are a little bit larger. Let me see how many. I have 10 of these as well. This is 18. Got a great price on them. Beautiful quality. I love them. That's it. I want to say that's 8 millimeter. Let's check my estimation. If this were like the bead is right.
The bead is right.
Instead of the price is right. Let's see how close I was.
It needs to be a beater game show.
Oh yeah, look at that. Almost exactly 8 millimeter. I know what I'm talking about. And look at the size of that hole. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a big hole.
How many we have of those?
10.
Okay.
So this is $18. It's $8.51. So we got a really good deal. Fantastic deal on those. And that's being passed on to you. Because usually rubies are pretty expensive. Usually this show people have been really marking things up at this show. But we visited our friends and they gave like extra discounts. So I was happy because sometimes, things are hard and you get it. People have to change prices or, because of their gas or their whatever reason that they need to get more out of things, or their suppliers, because sometimes this is a natural and finite product. It's not going to be around forever. It's not in unlimited quantities. It's a finite resource. And if the amount that they get, because usually like we've bought, and for stones, usually they're in chunks like this and small chunks. But a vein runs in kind of a flat, like this is kind of a, like ruby, emerald, that type of thing. They grow in crystal formation. And sometimes you can see the color between lots. Okay. This one I love because it was a paler, softer color. And again, these are beautifully micro-faceted. We got a great deal on them. $16 for this, $8.52. Beautifully drilled. I'm going to check them all for you. You're not going to get any broken, cut, or, chipped. I'm going to do the nice ones and make sure they're all perfectly drilled for you, so there's no worry about the quality. I'm not going to sell anything that I'm not going to use in my own finished jewelry. So that's one thing you can be, if you've ever bought my jewelry, and many of you have, I've run into people wearing it over this weekend, so I was pretty happy about that, to see it. Made me smile to see that. So this is lot 852. Remember, if you're watching this on replay, don't be afraid to drop me an email. It might take me a day or so to get back to you, because this going to Tucson is a haul. There are so many shows. And even if you do, you're doing good if you do 2 per day, because it's miles of walking and scouring and going through different vendors and tents and looking at all the beads. 10? I have 10 of them. All right. Those are beautiful. I love these. I can't wait to create with this. I would make earrings. I'd use these. This is how I like this, and I sell this a lot. And so a while ago, this is probably 10 years now, I bought these carved tourmalines. I had my eye out. I did not see them. So if you could see that, it's kind of like, it's basically this. And I jumped on these when I saw them, because this is an impossible to find cut. So this tourmaline here it was pink. I got them from Sona before. So Sona I've been buying from that guy since before Azalea was born, and he turned me on. He's where I got these. So see this? These are antique ruby and sapphire rose cuts, and you can't get these anymore. And so I bought these 20 some years ago in a lot. The lot was like, the paper was like falling apart, and I got the entire kilo, and that was like a big pack. I'm down to my last of it. So this is what I would do with this. You can visualize instead of that one. Look how pretty. And it's also, you can say it's ruby. You're not messing around. That's a ruby. So look how good that looks. It's a little lighter color. It's paler pink. I like it. I love pink. So anyway, you get quite a few on there. I believe there are, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Looks like 15 on there. So that's $16. It's $8.52. Can I see the purple stone again? You want to see the purple? Did you mean this? Are you talking about this, Donna? This is the purple emerald that I'm super crazy about. I'm for sure going to make earrings with those, because they have that. Look at the highlight. You see that? The highlights when the sun hits them. And this is just the light from the hotel. That's $8.46 if you're interested. You'd get 8 of them, so you could get 4 pairs of earrings. Pretty. All right, I'm coming down the last of them. I've saved the turquoise for last.
Caps. Ooh, that's so good.
It is. They bring delight to my heart. All right, so this is what I was talking about with like some of the faceting sometimes. Like this is not dyed. This is good, pretty good turquoise. Now, when you're testing turquoise, say you're gonna buy some. You're at the gem show, you're at the bead show, wherever you are, and you want some turquoise. Here's how to look to make sure. Now, the only true way that you're going to find out if something is if you find a cracked bead and you look, and inside, if it's white, then it's dyed howlite. So we bought this from, what was that place called? American Turquoise Company or something? I don't remember the name of it.
Oh, that right there?
All right, so I have 5 of these nug packs, and this is $16. They weren't terribly expensive. I was surprised because we found some turquoise and it was high. So I'd found a guy that was showing turquoise, and he was like, "This is actually not turquoise. This is something called Priscicola that comes from Arizona. This is turquoise." But he was showing me the difference. And the rock, I took a picture of it. It was bigger than Azalea's head by like 3 times. So the way you check is you look at it, see if you can see this. Look into the hole, and if you can look in there, the dyeing usually, because they dye them on thick strands, and it doesn't usually reach the hole. So you get in there, you look at it. I got a magnifying glass, or usually I am shame free. I will get in there with my optivisors on. Ask anyone. They'll see me come in with those optivisors on. I'm going to look. And so I've got that. If you can see the edge, you look down to the hole.
How many you got of those?
If it's white, that's dyed howlite. And then so you can say, if it doesn't bother you and you're going to sell them inexpensive, there's nothing wrong with howlite. It's just not turquoise. And it shouldn't be named as turquoise.
Quantity?
Oh.
Back? I got to make sure I don't overdo it.
5. Oh, can you close that? That curtain. I don't want those dudes just standing there getting ready to make comments about the fish sauce that I left out there next to the door for them to enjoy.
Yeah.
Oh, Sheree, I'm so sorry. She said she made a necklace out of dyed howlite by mistake and proceeded to bleed blue all down my chest. That's unfortunate. And I hate that, you know? And here's another thing. If it's super cheap, then that's an indicator, because there's nothing, if it's too good to be true, then it is. There's nobody going to give that away. All right, Facebook user, could you name yourself? Because it's showing up to me as Facebook user. So you have to sign in. Is it American? Kitty, I think that this comes from this color. I want to say, well, I did from this guy. He was telling me, I want to say that's from China, because I think the China looks like this. I'll compare. I'll show you the comparison. So this comes from Afghanistan. And you've seen this if you've ever seen like Himalayan necklaces or the Mongolian tribes, they're getting that stuff from Afghanistan. And it has this sort of greenish, yellowish tone. That's the difference. Look. I don't know if you can see that, if you can see the difference between those colors. But this one has a more like a more vivid blue. So I would think that would come from, it's either American. You know, when I was getting this, I was a little bit tired and he was talking a lot. So he did not specify, and he had several, it was at KINO and had several types of turquoise. But when I think of Chinese turquoise, I think of it being very, very blue. Very blue. Or not blue. I meant green, is what I meant to say. It's really green. Like Chinese turquoise is usually really green.
What do you have right now?
Oh, I'm holding this. This is not Persian. This is from Afghanistan.
You need to show that tag if you're selling it.
Oh, duh. Carved Afghanistan. I have 8. There was not a lot. There was only 1 strand. And this is from the guy at KINO. He was telling me.
What's the lot number, Mama? You have to show the lot number.
Oh, yeah.
Lot 849 for that carve. That's very hard to find. I've never seen that before.
Sharon, how do I register? Are you talking about getting into a show, or are you talking about shopping with us? Because you don't have to register with us. What you have to do is we need your email. That's what we need, so we can send a Shopify invoice to you. So you just tell the lot in your comment.
You just comment the lot number, and all we need is your email address.
So then we'll send it to you. It has tracking.
Unless you've shopped with us before. If you've shopped with GreenGirlStudios before, we already have all your information. But if you've never seen us before, we're going to need your email address.
So this is that first bunch is a blue. No, this is not dyed. I was assured, because I was like, are you certain? And I was like, let me see a cracked one. I would think there is more black, so that tells me that this is probably from either Mongolia or China. See, also there's a little more green on this one, but on this strand there's a few that have that sky blue. They're not all that color. See, you see when you flip this one, you get a little bit of this. So this one's a little, this is more close. I would think that's Mongolian. That's my guess, because this is what that's reminding me of. Because I have a few pieces at home that they mix this with coral a lot, and it looks fantastic with coral. And so that's what I think this is. And so sometimes as you learn your stones, and you every time I go to a show, I ask questions and I learn a little bit more. So this one, lot 85416, if
We
you're
have 4
interested.
left.
Email here if you're watching on replay. I'll get
no,
back to you.
that's gone.
Oh, sorry.
Gone. That you were showing, we have 4 left.
So Azalea says we have 4 left. This is a very rare cut. I've never seen this. They have 1 strand and only 1 strand, and he told me that they were vintage from the 80s. That was his estimation. He said his dad would know better, and he was like, they could be antique, but I don't. He's like, so this is 849. I got a pretty good price on that. That's good for this, because this is gem quality. This is definitely semi-precious. These would make incredible earrings. That's all I know. Is this with an earring, a pearl? Stop. Oh my God, a pearl with that? That's speaking my language.
Right,
Or
last one.
There's one more left?
No, did you do this
Oh,
already?
okay. This is the last of the evening, and I was gonna. The other one, that one strand was my favorite. They had 2 of these, and I snapped them up. There was one lady that was like, "Is there any more?" And he actually put the tray away. You remember that? He put that tray away. And he was like, no, there's no more, because we got the last of it. So this is what I call, it's like kind of like a flat squash. And I got a really good price. $25. Although we had to get this price, we had to buy the hank of 3 strands. And I've never before seen this. I've never seen the cut or the quality in this cut. So this comes from Afghanistan. He believed, the guy, it's his dad's business. He told me he'd seen these, but he thinks that they're from the 80s, but he thought his dad would tell him that they were actually antique, because they don't make this anymore. And he's like, well, it's kind of like it didn't sell well, so we kept it in the warehouse, and we thought we'd see. There was one more strand in the case that was great big. They were like this. But I was like, I don't know if my customers would want that, because they were expensive. That strand was like over $500, so I don't know about that. Sometimes, we can swing it, but I was like, we'll come back, because that's a little out of the budget. But if everybody loved it, then maybe we would do it. And it's, it would take a village to get it. If you wanted one of those big, juicy ones, I would say if you were a metalsmith, those would be insane. So at his table, he had these beads, but they had big silver, like on each one. It was a big cap that was really decorative and beautiful.
How many of these?
20. I actually kept some for myself.
You have 20 lots?
20. Yeah, because I bought the double. And I counted to make sure. So I've been counting beads like crazy, y'all. This is the last of the evening. This is 850. This is probably one of the rarer pieces that I've found, and I love it. I was really happy. They're a flat squash. Look, one side's just like a squash. These would be pretty in a stack. Like I would put one and maybe like a rondelle of another color just underneath it. Maybe you could even get away with like a silver. I wouldn't put this with any kind of base metal if at all possible. I would put this with silver or gold. Gold for sure if you can get it, because it's so luxurious and beautiful. And you know what? This is the thing about Tucson. Sometimes you can find things like this, where you can find precious things that are very rare and hard to find, and that would be in Sundance catalog, and then you could have your own. I would put this. I'm gonna make earrings with mine, and I'm gonna make a pair for Azalea as well. I was thinking of either a spray, 2 caps. I'm gonna put 2 caps, and then either a big pearl, a girl with a pearl earring. Oh, Becky's asking what's the number. It's 850. It's the last lot of the evening. $8.50. Yeah, there's a lot of potential. Cherie said you could put a ruby in the center to make a flower. Oh, yes. Oh, I see what you mean. I had a friend named from Scattered Light. I can't think her name right now, but she made these what she called her stacked collage pendants, and she put the beads where they were stacked like this, and then had they were stacked like that, and there was a bail like this. The bail came up like this. Let me show you. And that was the pendant. And they had like they were stacked up flat things. I should show those. They actually made like I can remember her husband. He made my wedding rings a long time ago. His name was Russell, but I can't think her name. I think it was Kathy. But anyway, she would stack them, make collages. All right, so that was $8.50. There's 20 of those lots. If you're watching on replay, just ask about $8.50. They're $25. It's a great price. Fantastic, actually. We didn't mark that up super high. I was telling Isaiah, I said, there's some folks that would mark that up 5 times, but we just did our standard amount. There's no need to be greedy. You want to be able to make a profit on it if you sell it. So that's my thought, is that if I'm going to sell it for a certain amount, I'm not going to mark it so high that like my jewelry is going to be one price, and then everybody else that makes similar is going to be like 5 times the amount. All right. I'm going to put this, and I'm going to switch the camera over. Take me a minute. Front camera, and here we go. We actually got some sleep last night, and that was we were shook.
Hard.
Went to bed at midnight. We
maybe not
worked all the way up till midnight counting beads.
8-hour night.
And because usually since I've been here, I have not gotten more than like 5 hours because we've been like counting and sorting and
We've been having the time of our lives though.
But it is fun with all the walking and dragging the suitcase. And sometimes you can't drag it through the gravel. So we had like a 2-man thing.
That wasn't a 2-man. That was 1-man me.
When I say 2-man, I lifted it to Azalea. And then she 2-manned it herself and carried it to the car. But we have been having so much fun. I am so excited to make jewelry when I get home. It's been so hard to resist. I was like, why didn't I bring the fixins? Because I could be doing it right now. So when I get back, let's have a play date and let's make some stuff. So I'm gonna knot some necklaces. I know y'all are probably bored to tears watching me knot necklaces, but I can't stop. This is my year of knotting, All right,
Last
folks.
year was your year of knotting. It's 2024 now. You get 2 to 3 years.
Okay, 2 to 3 years of knotting. All right, folks. We have tentatively, we're going to send out a newsletter. We talked to Ruhi on our way out, and she was like, can you guys do a live with us? I guess it's a little slow. Gem Mall's packed because here's the thing. Everyone wants to go over to the Holodome. Holodome is where you get like super cheap. Like you can get they had people selling like Tupperware. They had people selling those like shoes with like little rhinestones on them. It's anything goes over Holodome, and a lot of it is you can get really good deals on things. And so Holodome was packed to the gills, and we went over to one of the Gem Mall. It's all in the same area. These are like massive tents. I don't know if you watched one of our lives where we were showing downtown. We were driving by the shows. It was like 1,000, 2, and you're still driving by the Holodome. It's literally 2 football fields. And to get to one end to the other is a haul. I don't even want to know how many steps we put in.
You do want to know?
Yes, I do. Actually, I do. I like to know how many steps I put in. I'm guessing we did probably 5 miles today. But anyway, we're going to take you over there. It's really hard to get into Gem Mall. You need a resale license, and even then they've got they're like, they're scanning your driver's license. I'm like, let people shop. What is this? Who cares if they've got a license or not? So anyway, I mean, I guess they're keeping it where it's strictly wholesale, and I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna bring our gimbal and we're gonna try. Hopefully, no one intrudes on our space. But they are some of our favorite people. We're gonna drop by tomorrow and like do a tour of their booth. That's tomorrow at 10. We're gonna get them right when they open because we're hoping and putting the energy out that they'll have a really busy and really good day. So if you want to join us in the morning at 10, we have that planned. Hopefully we can get in there. It might be around 10:15 or so because there's always a big line and to get in. So I don't want to say exactly 10, maybe around that time.
It'll likely be closer to 11 because we take a long time to get ready in the morning, and then we'll have to get over there and then get ready and set up and have our chatting morning with everybody, chatting with Ruhi for 45 minutes, and then we'll go live.
It's fun because I knew her dad. So when I was Azalea's age, I met her dad, Tawny. And it was fun because he was when I was first learning to make jewelry. I didn't sell yet. I was just learning. And so I was learning at the Cultural Arts Center in Columbus, Ohio. And I'd go over and I'd be like, Tawny, what kind of gems you got? And at that time, I could only afford like jasper and like agate. And my eyes, though, were looking hard at the sapphires and rubies and all the good stuff, the clear. And it was a good time. Karen saying, send a message 30 minutes before you go. Send a message. Oh, Arizona time. Yeah, Tucson time. So for Eastern time, that would be what? Noonish? No. It depends.
If we're going on at 10, it would be noon in Eastern.
We want to be there at 10, but knowing us and also knowing how
about we post in the group a few minutes before we go on?
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to happen. You could get stuck in traffic. You could get stopped in the registration office because people are annoying. You could have pretty much anything happen in Tucson to delay you. Pretty much anything you can think of.
Sometimes there's unforeseen, like trying to find parking.
Yeah.
Parking. Today, the fun part of the day was riding around in that go-kart that they have, a bunch of go-karts. I say go-kart. I don't know if it's a go-kart.
It's a shuttle, but
it's like a shuttle. Golf cart. But it's like an extended bed golf cart where that seats like 6 people, And they put the pedal to the metal and race through that parking lot. You got to hold on to your hat because it's going to go flying away. And they're racing through there. I mean, they're going around people. I was like, that was part of, I was laughing. I was like, this is actually pretty fun. I would love to drive this. But it is. It's a lot of fun, but it is really, really it is like no place else because you have people here from all over the world. They're all here. And people get along. It's good. It's great. We have a great time here. And I can't wait to show you what we get up to tomorrow. We're going to go shopping again. We're going to go see Ruhi in the morning. And we're going to walk around. I don't know if we'll be allowed because they're pretty hard asses over there at that GNLW shows.
I haven't seen any things saying no pictures. So.
We didn't see any signs, but they've got a lot of I don't know why that no one wants to show. You'd think that what are you trying to make business? How do you make business, you guys? What are you doing? So
people just live in the past.
They're living in 1990. They don't want any.
They don't believe in social media.
They don't believe in social media. They think that that's like.
They say I don't get on no TikTok, Instagram. It's like, well, you should because
that's where the young people
enjoy trying to make money from the same people for the next 30 years because they might not be in the business in the next.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The other drag part about this is knowing people for almost 30 years. I figured it out with Kate last night. She's like, Cynthia, you've been coming here. She's been coming longer than me. She had a bead store, in Palo Alto where we used to stay with her. Not Azalea. I pointed to Azalea like it was Azalea. It was my sister and I way back when. But I've been going for 26 years. So it's really interesting to know people for that long. And the sad part is, to me anyway, is that so many are retiring. And I'm like, so what's going to happen with all your stuff? And they're like, well, we're going to try and liquidate it. And I'm like, okay. Now, if you're going to retire, please make sure, and I was giving out my number. Like, I can't afford to buy anybody's, like, out their product, but I'm like, listen, you know what I like? Send me that box. I'm good for it. And so it was pretty fun to do that. So, all right, folks, we are going to get back to work and count more beads. We're going to get these invoices sent, and we're going to try and we always consolidate if we can. And you're going to get a message, or you're going to get an invoice from Shopify. And the reason that's good is it has its included tracking included in that. So you don't have to worry about like PayPal invoicing. So all we need is your email. And if you've never shopped with us and you're not in our system, go ahead and email right up here and let me know who you are, so I can get that. I can get beads to you. So we're gonna go, and what are we gonna do? Are we gonna find something to eat?
We need to go to Walmart and return those.
We need to go to Walmart. Azalea bought cargo pants, and they are too big. They are way too big for her. So we're gonna go and take them back. All right, folks. We are having a wonderful time. I hope you have been enjoying our Tucson excitement and adventures. It's a lot of fun, and maybe we can go and find Kate, and we can go drag her with us to the American Indian show.
She would like to go with us.
She would like to. Maybe we can grab her and go. All right, friends. Stay creative out there, and we look forward to seeing you. Oh, Azalea, show the paper. Everyone likes to see the paper. We just saw that. So you can screen.
The scribbling at the bottom. I was writing myself a crochet pattern, and it wasn't good.
All right,
I scribbled it out.
Is there too much light on that? Let me move this light over because it's like blocking it out. All right. All right, you see a message from Carla. She's asking. All right, I'm going up the list.
Sorry, Carla, that stuff's sold.
We'll be going to
that
Gem
appetite
Mall.
went in like 3 seconds.
So what we'll do is we're going to go back to Gem Mall, and we're going to hunt for more. There wasn't a lot of it.
We'll be bringing gemstones home to sell
yeah,
too.
We're also getting different things, and some stuff is too hard to high grade, especially if it's very, very small. It's it's kind of time consuming to high grade it. So what I have to do is I line everything up, and I color match it so that each batch that you're going to get, it's not going to be like one person gets this part of the top of the strand, another person gets this part. I take everything off the strand, I match them out, and I remove anything that has flaws.
She makes sure every strand is identical and equal.
And I weigh them. So that's the other thing. So that's why it takes a little bit longer. So just keep that in mind, and just be aware that it takes a minute to do all that. So, and by the time we get back to the hotel, that's only like 3 or 4 hours before we have to go to sleep, and then get up and do it again. So
when you get back to the hotel,
Robin, I have a pewter clasp like this. I'll make more of these. I've been making these for my finished necklaces, and a few times I made a few extras, and before I left, I made a whole batch of things set with sapphires. So I'm going to bring those, and we're going to do that for the next lot sale on the Sunday that we get home. So we're going home on Thursday, and we will look. Do you see this? Look on your phone. They have a couple. Yeah, so there's one here from Facebook user. Maybe you can screenshot that one so we can make sure we get those email addresses.
Take a screenshot. I can't screenshot your phone.
All right, so I will. Let me see. I'm gonna try and screenshot that. All right. Thank you so much, friends. Thank you for sticking around with us for over an hour and a half. I appreciate it. And we really appreciate you buying stones from us. You have all the choices from all the different folks that are doing live sales. And we really appreciate that you are choosing to purchase from us, keeping us in business. We love that. And it's keeping the dream alive. So thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. Love you guys out there. And y'all take care. Good night.